Fact 1. The Chernobyl disaster began with a catastrophic explosion on April 26, 1986, when reactor number 4 experienced a sudden surge of power during a safety test. The reactor's design flaws, combined with operator errors, caused an uncontrollable spike that tore through the core. The explosion blew apart the roof, hurled massive blocks of concrete across the site, and exposed the glowing heart of the reactor to the open air. The blast was so violent that it shook buildings miles away and instantly killed 2 workers. Anton pointed at the distant ruined building, its skeletal remains barely visible through the gray haze. "It started in an instant," he murmured, "but it never really ended." Fact 2. After the explosion, intense fires ignited inside the reactor and surrounding buildings, burning for 10 days. The graphite used in the reactor's core caught fire, releasing vast amounts of radioactive material. Firefighters, unaware they were stepping into a lethal zone, fought blazes that glowed blue with ionized air. Some of them received fatal doses of radiation within minutes. Mila imagined the heat, the light, the chaos. The quiet around her now felt like an insult to their sacrifice. Fact 3. The radiation released in the first days was estimated to be over 400 times greater than that of the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. Invisible, silent particles swept over Pripyat and far beyond, contaminating land, buildings, animals, and human bodies without warning. People walked outside under clear blue skies, breathing in what they could not see. "Imagine poison in the air," Anton said softly. "But the poison has no smell, no color, no sound." Fact 4. The first responders, firefighters, plant workers, and medics had no protective gear and were never told the truth about the radiation. Many of them collapsed within hours. Others suffered severe burns, caused not by flames, but by gamma radiation. They were taken to hospitals where doctors struggled to understand the unprecedented injuries. Many died in agony days later. "These men saved millions," Anton said, "and the world barely knows their names." Fact 5. Pripyat's 50,000 residents were evacuated 36 hours after the explosion, far too late to avoid radiation exposure. Buses rolled in quietly. Loudspeakers told families they could return in a few days. Most left everything behind: pets, photos, diaries, unfinished breakfast. They never came back. Walking through the abandoned apartments, Mila felt the ghost of daily life. Toys on floors, dishes on tables, calendars frozen at April 1986. Fact 6. The Red Forest, one of the most contaminated places on Earth, formed when radiation killed acres of pine trees almost instantly, turning them a rust-red color. The trees were so radioactive that workers bulldozed them into mass graves and buried them under soil and sand. Even today, the soil in that region contains dangerously high contamination levels. Anton gestured toward a stretch of twisted trunks. "Nature remembers," he whispered. Fact 7. Radioactive fallout spread across continents, contaminating parts of Ukraine, Belarus, Russia, Scandinavia, and even distant countries like Italy, France, and the UK. The Soviet Union initially attempted to hide the disaster. It was only when scientists in Sweden detected abnormal radiation levels that the truth began to emerge. By then, radioactive clouds had drifted across Europe. "Imagine trying to hide the wind," Anton said. Fact 8. The Chernobyl Exclusion Zone spans more than 2,600 square kilometers and will remain unsafe for humans for thousands of years. Some isotopes released, like cesium-137 and strontium-90, take around 30 years to decay. Others, like plutonium-239, persist for tens of thousands. Entire towns, factories, farms, and forests were abandoned forever. Mila felt a shiver. Time moved forward everywhere, but here. More than 600,000 liquidators were deployed to clean up the disaster, often performing tasks robots could not survive. They shoveled radioactive debris from the reactor's roof, built containment structures, buried contaminated soil, and killed irradiated animals. Many received massive radiation doses. Some died quickly. Others suffered illnesses for decades. Anton showed her a rusted medal. This belonged to a liquidator, he said. Their heroism built this silence. Fact 10. Although wildlife has flourished in the absence of humans, scientists have documented mutations, shortened lifespans, reproductive problems, and genetic abnormalities in many species. Wolves, boars, birds, and insects thrive in number, but not always in health. Some animals show tumors, cataracts, deformed limbs, or disrupted populations. The zone is alive, but it is not healed, Anton said.